Okay, we got the numbers rolling. Excellent. Hi, everyone. My name is Bruce Lombardo, and I'm here today with 6 Nations, 31 Kings, and my friend Janet from another planet. And we have just finished watching the movie from 2012, FDR American Badass, starring Barry Bostwick, Bruce McGill, written by Ross Patterson, and starring a number of other quite talented individuals with a great script. This was your two guys' first time watching it, right?
Yeah, it was fucking awesome.
It was.
I'm just gonna say it out loud.
Interesting.
Awesome.
It's a movie. It's a movie, right, Janet?
Yeah, it was interesting.
It's a movie.
I mean, it wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen, but it wasn't the best movie either.
You did not compare this to Willy's Wonderland, which
No, it wasn't that bad.
this is kind of like the guys' version of Bad Girls. If guys want to watch a Bad Girls-like movie, this is a good qualifier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if you have eclectic taste, schlock, really horribly written, but mildly entertaining. Canon films comes to mind.
We haven't even watched Death Wish 3 yet. I'm looking forward to Death Wish 3.
Yeah, this is up your alley. If you want to shock people, if you want to be shocked, if you like revisionist history,
It kind of falls
it
within
makes
that.
FDR look really badass.
It does fall within that revisionist history that Tarantino started
And
to
sadly,
really.
it covers a lot of notes for all
Yeah.
shapes and sizes.
So, Janet,
Yes.
we've been friends for a while. This is probably the first time I've ever watched a movie where I thought in about the middle of a film, like, I wonder if I should be watching this movie with Janet. This is the first time I've ever had that thought.
Well, it was interesting, but it just wasn't very well written. I think the actors did the best they could and had fun with it, even though I just thought the script was just a jumbled mess, basically. I just thought it was really bad. It was really bad.
Definitely a love project.
But it's saying it's not letting me stream to YouTube, so I'm going to
It's
turn it
definitely a
off.
love project.
What about
It pays the.
Twitter?
Let's see what we
It says X is
pushing
working,
the envelope.
so that's all I know. So we'll see if it's working or not. I'll have to go over there and look. But I thought it was interesting to the part you could definitely tell the person writing it didn't seem they were very old. They seemed like they were writing jokes and skits and stuff like they were 15 or something, with those types of jokes like the pooping in a jar, that type of stuff. It just seemed very immature. It was a very immature script, and it was like they had to take a special history course on the whole thing about Hitler, Mussolini, and all that stuff, and they decided to throw it all together and make and they definitely didn't like these people because they put them in a very bad light. You know what I mean? And they also put the repubs in a really bad light too. So it was like the person who wrote the script, which I don't really know who they were very well. I mean, I've seen the actor and stuff, but it seemed like they put all of them in a bad light because they hated politics. That's what it seemed like to me.
If you've ever listened to him on his podcast, yes, you're on the target. You're over the target. Janet would be suffering flack right now if she knew how much Ross Patterson hated politics.
Well, you could tell. Whoever wrote, I didn't know who it was for sure.
You fucking
that
hate
wrote
politics.
that. What is that in there? A new link for
That's
me?
the link. Yeah, that's the link for if you want to see the guy that wrote it. It's the guy that played Cleavon Buford in this film. He's okay. He wrote a script, and this movie is for 12-year-old boys.
It definitely seemed like it.
I have no
the way
problem.
it was put together.
I would beg to differ with the floral arrangement halfway through. It's definitely you want to blame people, it's Ross Patterson and Lindsay Cohen. She was the script supervisor. He was the writer. Put all the blame on them.
I don't know what happened to Ross as of the last few years. I know he was doing with a lot of the guys from Black Rifle Coffee Company. He was out of Austin doing this thing called the Drinking Bros podcast. So you wouldn't have to drink alone. You could. It might be. Mac Thompson asks the immortal question: is that a naughty nurse outfit? If you've seen this movie before,
well, it's not. I didn't have his cleavage and stuff showing this time, so I'm not really a naughty nurse. But I guess I could always be naughty. Everyone else in the movie was naughty, but the nurse.
Good. Yeah, the nurse was the most wholesome person in the entire.
I know. So I thought that was hilarious, but I thought it was great.
Involved.
I mean, even
tiny polio legs.
Go! Oh God, the polio legs.
I know it was just. I mean, everything was funny and kind of gaggy to me. Like schlock stick type stuff. Until I saw the guy poop in the jar, and I almost threw up. I mean, I really did. I almost. It looked so real. It was disgusting. That just repulsed me. It took me a few minutes to get past that. You know what I mean?
You've probably done the mortal harm to Janet.
Oh, it was really bad. I mean, really, really bad. That part at least was to me.
Yeah, that part reminded me of old internet stuff. You got your friends saying, "Hey, you should check out this link," and then you got to figure out whether you want to click on it or not, or if they're pulling your leg.
Last time I clicked on a link from Josh, it was a guy in Afghanistan who discovered a claymore, and he went everywhere. That's the level that this movie was written on. Okay, they go for the most jaw-dropping, shock-filled thing, and like the guy that wrote it at the time, I think he was really new into podcasting, and so he was really just kind of in love with the idea of being able to do and say whatever he wanted, and there would be no grief, there would be no apology, there would be just like, hey, I'm going to do this, and he would write something, and you just kind of have to deal with it. You'd have to let it cycle. And I think Ross Patterson, when he wrote this film, I think he was really just like, we're gonna have a freedom of thought, and if you want to write schlock and porn and put it out there for consumption, the kids are going to see it anyway. But I need to make money, so I'm going to make it so I can make my money. I think that's where he was.
Stream of consciousness.
Yeah. He literally embodied that very well with this film. Janet, are you back with us?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, I was trying to hook it up to where I could do Rumble, but it won't let me add anything new now that I've already started. So it's all right. I'll just leave it on next today. That's no big deal.
For those of you that
the more I think about this movie, the more it makes Kentucky Fried Movie look highbrow.
I never saw a Kentucky Fried Movie.
You didn't watch it with us?
Just saying, like,
for some odd reason, I thought Janet watched that with us.
When was that? Who was in it?
Like a year and a half ago.
Just trying to remember. Well, maybe I did. I just don't remember it. I don't remember if the name sounds familiar, but I'd have to listen to what you guys were saying about what was in it for me to know whether I, watched it or not. Because honestly, I can't remember. But
around 25 Catholic schoolgirls in heat, Kentucky Fried Movie.
Now, I remember Hamburger, the movie, but I don't remember Kentucky Fried Movie.
Well, Hamburger, the movie, also had Dick Butkus in it.
Yeah, I liked him. I thought he did a good job. He was a believable
So
character in the movie.
I thought we watched Kentucky Fried Movie. I guess we haven't yet.
I don't think
But
so. Not that I
that has
remember.
Evan C. Kim, Bill Bixby, George Lazenby's in it, Marilyn Joy, and it's a series of like segments. Okay,
Yeah,
well I
and
guess
so was the one about the Amazon women from the moon.
Amazon Women on the Moon. That
Yeah.
was an enjoyable movie, and I still
Yeah.
want to watch that movie again just so I can watch it just for seeing that shitty actor in that science fiction part because he wants to delete that off his resume.
But there was a lot of things that I did like about the movie. The concepts, there are certain little things that I thought were enjoyable. It's just the script wasn't very it was too childlike. You know what I mean? It was for the adult content with tits and that's why I knew it was a young man probably that wrote it because it just had a lot of TNA in it, dumb jokes of kind of like, like when she was doing a thing with the, when she was sticking her tongue in the cheek with the melon in her hand.
Yeah.
In front of her husband. Okay, that kind of thing to the other guy. It was in the car. Just little things like that was very childish, like a teenager would do. Maybe a 19-year-old that just joined college. But it didn't seem like a person that would write a script with that type of content in it, unless that's what the target audience was. You know what I mean? Like, what's that show? The one I always bring up where the guy glued the guy to his chest.
He glued the what to his chest?
He glued a dwarf to his chest in a TV series. It was the guys doing all kinds of stupid shit where they were breaking their legs and crap. I mean, they were just.
You're talking about
Jackass?
Jackass.
Yeah, Jackass. Okay. It was like that dumb and stupid, like only dumb teenage kids that are 16, 14, jumping off roofs, just doing dumb shit. That's what it reminded me.
Going on
She's not talking about us, Sir Dragon. She's not talking about us.
But the thing is like that the script was like written. The person who wrote it was either that young and that way is the way he thought about it. And he was looking at politics and the whole war and how stupid it was and throwing shade on everyone, basically. He made the woman FDR was more like his grandmother, so he put her in a better light. You see what I mean? It seemed like he focused on certain characters, but not in a good light. They were all scumbags. They all drank. They were all sex abusers. They were all into fetishes. Every single person in this movie, except for the grandmother or the mother, FDR's wife, and what was the other person? There was one other person that nurse. The nurse and her were really the only wholesome people in the whole movie. Everyone else was skanks and hoes and abusers, basically, which was fine because they're werewolves. I mean, werewolves, are bad. They're bad anyways. But the guy, the actor, what was his name? I'm trying to give me a second. Oh, Ben Victor, that played Mussolini.
Yes, Paul Ben Victor.
He was freaking awesome. I thought he
loved him.
Played his character, even though it was a childlike character because of the way it was written, the script, he played it as an adult and he made it believable. He seemed like he meant everything he said. He was stern, and he was believable for his character. And I really enjoyed that part of it. So, and then Kevin Sorbo, I loved that whole scene where he was President Lincoln in the portrait on the wall, and he comes out because the guy's high as a kite, right? FDR is high as a kite. I love that whole thing. I thought it was funny, even though, I can deal with schlocky, cheap special effects as long as I feel like that movie you got me to watch about the gamers. Okay. Mm-hmm. That was really schlocky, but I loved everything because it was that you could tell that they worked very hard to portray the people they were supposed to be. And it was believable, even though the special effects didn't always work exactly the way they wish they would have. When he's flying through the air with the fog machine going and FDR is sitting there and he's like floating along behind it. It was so funny. I love that whole scene. I was laughing through all that. That was really good. I just thought it was great. And the dialogue between the two, and at the end they're laying on the grass higher than kites and laughing and talking about shit. I just thought that was really good. And I just loved it. I thought that was all good. And I even liked Emperor Haruto, or whatever you say his name. Yeah, Haruto. I even liked him because the actor that portrayed him, I thought was very believable. He did a believable job. And he overemphasized his own language. I just thought that was just freaking kick-ass. To see a Chinese or a Japanese overuse their language to make it look like it's 10 times worse. You know what I mean? I just thought that was funny. So there was a lot of this movie that I really laughed. But what I enjoyed the most out of all of it was you laughing out loud. Listening to you laugh at some of the stuff at certain scenes, I just enjoyed that tremendously. It made me happy to know I was getting to watch a movie with my friends and they're laughing through it, and it made it even more enjoyable for me. So that was one of the things I really liked, and I loved the spoofing parts of it, like when they use the Batman logo almost, the little circle spinning pictures of the pizza, whatever else it was, going in and out for the editor. I just love that. So that showed me that the people that he hired, whoever that hired all the people, knew what they were doing. Okay, you had experienced editor, you had an experienced person for props, you had experienced person for the special effects, even though they were kind of hokey and stuff. And I think they leaned more toward the hokey than to really make it more authentic, because
they leaned into it so hard. I don't think you can really fault the choice on the special effects. I think the special effects work.
For this movie, I thought they were spot on for the type of movie this was. Even the wheelchair effects. Mafia. The Werewolf Mafia. I forgot about that. They were funny as shit. Go ahead.
Well, the whole thing with the tropes, like operators doing the three-way call. Those poor operators are always getting shot in the head for some screw.
Yeah,
then you got Mussolini, plate of spaghetti. Later on, he's got a bunch of calzones that he's trying to fill up. His infiltrator werewolves that are smuggling bootleg liquor into the U.S. during Prohibition.
And turning people into werewolves.
Obvious wise guys, but they're all dressed like werewolves in suits.
Yeah, I thought it was great. It reminded me of that commercial with the caveman. Remember that? The caveman guy would wear a suit and was all, and they play that music like what was it? I don't know, Staying Alive or whatever. And he's walking down the street in the commercial and he's all hairy and stuff. That's what it reminded me of. So they were funny, and those costumes were pretty good. I mean, considering the type of werewolves they were making, they weren't making an American werewolf in London. It was a comical werewolf, and I thought it was really that. Some of those scenes were done really well, and the scene wasn't so childlike in a point of view of a child, a teenager, a young, preteen or teenager. But the girls, they got to run around with their boobies hanging out and flopping around. It looked like they had a lot of fun. I would like to see the outtakes from this movie, because I guarantee they're probably way more funny than the movie.
I think the outtakes are probably better than the film.
I think so. I bet they are, because it looked like everybody on set laughed a lot, had a great time. And even the person, the prop person, they got to come up with the idea for that wheelchair. I bet they had so much fun riding around that at their home or in the studio lot or whatever while they were building that. I guarantee they were all running around in that. I bet there's videos of them doing that.
I'll keep a silver cheese off in my pants at all times. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That one scene where they're having dinner with the repubes in Georgia.
Yeah.
The Republicans in Georgia. And and what is trying to have a straight face, and the guy's cousin / wife is doing the sexual innuendo with the chicken leg and the potatoes.
Yeah, that was
Like-
disgusting. It was, but it was
Like
funny.
you're looking at it like, oh my god, this is so freaking juvenile, high school level. All these great actors, some of them very prominent,
Mhm.
and they're trying their damnedest not to laugh during the scene.
Well, you could
even though
tell
it's
in
supposed to
some
be
of the
funny.
scenes. You could tell in some of the scenes that even though they edited the best they couldn't take out the last little, the person trying to hold back.
Oh yeah,
Person
there's
out
probably
laughing.
like 30 takes
Yeah, you could tell.
easily.
So they did have a good time.
So if folks haven't seen this movie or the trailer, the whole thing is there's a rash of werewolf attacks. FDR survives one, but he gets bit on the leg, and as we all know, werewolves give you polio. So he ends up getting the
Frank.
polio.
You have the polio.
And then they kill the werewolf. And then
Because he happens to have the gun, remember, in his sock.
It's actually a Nazi, and that Hitler has a plan to take over the world using werewolves.
Because Hitler was a werewolf.
So of course, yeah, he wins the presidency, and then we get a Nazi werewolf ass.
But the look
revisionist history, but it's solid.
The look on the woman's face that played the actress that played FDR's wife in that one scene when he first lifted up the blanket and his legs were like really small limp noodles, because you could tell they were made out of like rubber or whatever, the ones in the bed that were jiggling around. You know what I mean? And the look on her face of pure horrified freaking out. And when she saw him, she did a really good job. And the actress, I've seen her in a lot of other things. And she's a good actress. Yeah, she did a very good job.
Very popular.
She did a good job at playing his wife, even though I thought she was a little old for the part. To play his wife, I think she should have probably been at least 10 years younger than what she looked, because she just looked too old to have only one grown kid. You know what I'm saying? You know, the way that they set up the dialogue and everything, and had the one grown kid that's gay, supposedly, and poops in jars. So it was disgusting. But the other thing was I thought was really funny. My first laugh that I laughed was when they were on the dock. Remember? They were on the dock, and the guy is talking, and he's singing the song lyrics from the song. He works on the dock all day, and then she's at the diner, and she's ready to go home and give her man or her money or whatever it was, that song. So I thought it was funny. So you knew it wasn't a song, you know what I mean, as the way they did it, even though, and I think they did it a couple times with different songs. At least it sounded like it to me after they did it to me the first time. But that was funny.
Well, they threw in some top humor also. There's that. Oh, then there was George Washington's weed.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The humidor box. So I was expecting it to be a giant joint in there, but it was a whole bunches of them, all with the little signature on them. I thought that was genius. So there was a lot of really funny things in there. Mm-hmm. I thought it was.
And then Kevin Sorbo as Lincoln.
Yeah, that was kick ass. I thought they did a good job at doing all that. Now, who was the actress? Did you guys recognize the actress that played the girl that had the melons when he first pulled up? And she said,
"Is that Pratt?" I think that's a Pratt.
Carrie Lynn Pratt.
Yeah. She used to be kind of all over the place, and then she just kind of got out of acting.
Probably because she had kids and stuff, and a lot of women, take time off when they're parents and stuff like that. So.
And then Ross Patterson played Cleve.
Yeah, he was the writer. Carrie Lynn Pratt was her name. You're right. Let's see.
I still say he was trying to emulate Val Kilmer from Tombstone a little bit.
I bet you're right, because he had a lot of Val Kilmer in every damn scene.
Yeah,
he was in.
definitely. Yeah, the kid, the guy with that was had polio and had used a cane, that one,
Mhm.
and took him to the hot tub out in the middle of the woods.
Yes, and then
It had what was her name?
Werewolves don't like
Peaches
warm
in there.
water.
God, that was funny. Yeah. But that was funny. That was a cute little scene. You could definitely tell that was all done on the set. That whole hot tub scene.
that's okay.
But no, I'm saying they had enough money to have a set and have a hot tub and build a whole forest around it. It'd have probably been cheaper if they just took a hot tub and set it in the ground,
Forest.
in the woods. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So I was just looking at different things like that, trying to because you remember before I saw this, you said it had a budget of like $5 for the special effects. So I was really looking around. I was like, I thought they did a really good job considering. I mean, I don't know how much money they had. But you definitely tell
And
the
then,
person was young.
Vanessa
Directed it.
played Peaches.
I didn't recognize her in anything.
I don't think she's been in a
So
whole
that
lot.
whole.
But there's a
scene
lot
that they
of
were
women-
mentioning Georgia
Sorry.
and the hot spring that they're hanging out in.
Like she's been underwater the
That
whole
was
time they were
Peaches.
talking.
The whole time.
Yeah,
She was being a mermaid.
But
so retarded.
I was going to say. Oh, a lot of women are in tons of movies that have kick-ass bodies. They play strippers. They play, they're usually just featured extras, and they get paid really well. But they're not big names because they don't really have dialogue. They might have like 2 words, like over there, real stupid, stuff like that. Little bubbly characters just for the TNA part. You know what I mean? So there's lots of girls you recognize their face or their body. A lot of guys will recognize their boobs or whatever. But the thing is that they just, dye their hair or wear wigs or whatever else, and then wear sexy outfits. And they're pinup girls, basically. You'll see those same girls do promo work, like I was talking about, for car shows and selling different products like vapes and other different things in like Las Vegas and other cons and things like that. So you'll have a lot of those type of women in tons of movies, because if there's like I told you, I got a thing asking if I would be in the hot tub time thing or whatever movie.
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yeah, Time Machine, the second one, because I never saw the first one. All I had to do for quite a few bucks, nice money, was just get in the hot tub and show my boobs. And I said, no, I'm not going to do that. But I did get a casting notice for that. But so, a lot of women do that, and they make good money, and they just travel around and do the pinup girls for the cars. The ones that lay on the cars and wear the little shorts where their ass is like just hanging out a little bit, the Daisy Dukes and all that. So you'll see a lot of those girls in a lot of these types of movies, and they make good money because they're pretty and they do what they're told.
Yeah, I love this scene here.
Yeah.
I love the scene here because the 4 men are out in the middle of the woods and they're hunting. FDR is completely normal, and he's got his buddies with him. This guy here, I forget what his name is. He was in the movie called Office Space. Greatest scene ever. What exactly do you do here? I love that guy.
Yeah, all of them looked familiar. Even when he died,
Richard
when he got
Reel.
killed. Yeah, they all look familiar. And I wonder who the guy was that played the werewolf, because he was pretty gruesome.
It's a good question.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who he was.
Sherry Spangs. I don't. The name sounds like she does like adult films, but
She might.
she's. I didn't see it on her resumes, and usually that stuff's right out in the open.
Don't be smart.
She is the most wholesome character in the whole movie.
Well, his wife was too. She was always prim and proper until that one scene where she drank that.
When she took her bra off and her son next to her pooping in a jar.
Yeah, but when she drank that bottle of whatever it was, the hidden concoction, probably from a still, And then she sat on his lap, that type of thing. She was pretty much prim and proper, but the nurse was only in the very early part of the movie. She wasn't in the rest, so we don't know how naughty she would have been. But the other scene that I just almost gagged a few times, but I also laughed, was the part where the secretary massages his legs. God, that was gross. Did you guys think that was funny?
No
It
comment.
was horrible and funny.
It was so gross. Ugh. But you lifted up his blanket and started massaging his legs.
Like, I'll be sitting there at the barbecue grill cooking up hot dogs thinking, God, this is horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty gross. But when she whips out the ketchup and mustard and starts squirting it like this, squirting it on his legs. Oh, I was like, you got to be kidding. But it was like a lot of fetish stuff in this movie. Tons of it.
It's Ross Patterson.
On that crap.
I mean, the part where he's sitting there, like, you think he's cleaning the toilet because he's got his hand in there. You see it, like, he stops because he's listening to the radio, right? The lead actor and the director and the one who wrote the script too, right?
Yeah.
He's got his hand in there. All of a sudden, he's like, "We don't have to make this in the toilet anymore." And he starts sucking on, the wine, toilet wine or whatever. It was just disgusting. It was just hard for me. So he used a lot of toilet humor, which really pushed that he was young. I mean, he was a young writer.
Who are you streaming with, Janet? What do I do for a living? Of course, I found this movie to be delightful.
I thought it was funny. I didn't say it was not as bad. I've seen worse, believe me. But this was just, you could tell it was a young person that wrote it, and I didn't know who he was.
He was 37 when the movie got made. I don't know how old he was when he wrote it.
I'd like to know.
12.
I bet he was pretty young.
He could have been 12 when this movie was written.
Maybe, I don't know, but he was definitely impressionable when it came to politics. You could tell he did not like politics at all because he didn't like repubs and he didn't like Democrats and he didn't like any of these people because he hated everything to do with the war. See what I mean? On both sides. So he made both sides as ridiculous and stupid as possible. Except the scene too where they make fun of the black guy and he's like, "That's not right to do that." And he's like, "Why?" He goes, "Sir, I ran out of paper or whatever. He had to use the chalkboard, whatever." And then he said, "I'm going to go outside and play basketball." I just thought that was so bad. There's no way they could do this movie today. There's no way.
No.
Now they might in 2 years from now, if things start getting back to where, see, to me, this movie should be made. Movies like this should be able to be made and people should be able to go see this if they want. Okay, even though it had a little bit of racism, a little bit of sexism, it had a lot of stuff, isms, making fun of gays, making fun of people at pooping jars.
How into free speech are you? Are you into FDR American Badass levels of free speech?
Yeah, I am.
My barometer.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think people should be able to make this shit if they want. It should be my decision what movie I want to see. Not the government telling me I can't see it. See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a huge advocate for that. Just because I was grossed out, but I'm telling you, it's still not the worst movie I've ever seen. Rabbit Test was pretty bad too, that my mom loved. Thought it was hilarious. Rabbit Test.
Rabbit Test?
Yeah, Rabbit Test. You gotta look that up. Oh my God, it's bad. It wasn't as bad as the other one, but it's bad. It's a bad, really bad, stupid movie. It's like this, where they make fun of everybody, and it's Billy Crystal. My mom loved Billy Crystal.
What's your favorite Billy Crystal movie?
That's an old one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's old. I told you my mom loved it. I think I would say the movies I watched with my mom. Wasn't he in something Seattle with
Sleepless in Seattle with Meg Ryan?
I think it was that maybe that one. Maybe I'd have to go through the list. I can't remember.
I would absolutely not be surprised if that's your favorite Billy Crystal movie, Janet.
What other movies does he have?
I'm not saying that like you would pick a movie with Meg Ryan as one of your favorite films, but I'm just saying like you're a big
If
softie.
Blazing
We get it.
Saddles is top shelf,
Say again?
this is kind of like your mid-range to low-range liquor.
hmm
It's not horrible, but it's not of the caliber of Blazing Saddles.
No.
No, it's not the same type
That
of
would be hard
humor
to
at
beat.
all to me.
If you like Blazing Saddles, this movie might gross you out.
Yeah, this one was on the D-rate side compared to Blazing Saddles. To me, I just thought it was had a lot of D-rate, slapstick in it.
That's one credit in this movie. She hasn't done anything else.
Well, she was probably in a bar or something like that, and they said, "Hey, we want to put you in this movie. We think you're for this part." And she said, "Sure." And then she probably met
Well, I
somebody.
would think that would be a breakout role. She was doing pretty damn good with the beer pong.
Well, I'm just saying that a lot of people
She
don't
made
really.
Hitler drink.
What was the name of the kid that was in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory?
Well, Charlie?
The first one that played Charlie. Yeah. Now that actor that played him, I think that was the only movie he was in, and he was a phenomenal little actor. I thought he was adorable.
Well, I mean, same thing with the young boy that was in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. One
Yeah.
Take Barry was so good, and they just needed literally one take from him, and he would do his shot, then he'd go play with toys offset,
Mhm.
and that was like the perfect acting that you could have ever expected from a child was what we got out of Close Encounters of the Third Kind. The rest of the movie, like a lot of Terry Garr scenes, had to be refilmed because she would miss her marks or she would not sell proper.
Yeah, when she did Tootsie, a lot of people said she's just not a very good. That she's just not very good.
Yeah,
She's just not a very good actress.
And
But
I
she
hate
did
to think
some
that.
parts okay, but she just wasn't.
I hate to think that because I love Terry Garr in Young Frankenstein. That's like one of my like old steady girlfriends I can always go back to and always expect and it's what you want, it's like it's a guaranteed 90 minutes of laughs. Terry Garr sells every line she does in it to the nth of her ability. She's wonderful. Then you watch her in
But
something
that was the right
serious.
character for her. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like a lot of people I know that don't like Nicolas Cage. They just think Nicolas Cage he's only in one mode. He only has one mode. He's not versatile as an actor.
What are you talking about?
See,
I don't know
so
what you're talking
I feel
about,
the exact same way about Melanie Griffith. I think she's one of the worst actresses. I put her on one of the worst actress lists, and a lot of people say, I like her. She's really good. And I go, well, I just don't think she's that talented. Now, someone like Cher and someone like, let's see, what's a couple other ones that I thought were Bette Midler,
Gilda
good
Radner.
actresses. Gilda Radner. There's lots of actresses out there that are kick-ass. No matter what character you put them in, they can do it. There's just not a lot of those.
Mhm.
I mean, not as many as there are bad.
I don't know what type of acting ability I need to sell you, Janet. But I can tell you, Janet, that I was in a movie called The Rock, and I was also in a movie called Face Off, and then I was also in a movie that I can't think of right now. No. It was not Ghost Rider. Ghost Rider was a paycheck, and I got 2 of them. But my trilogy of action films should never be transgressed upon. The Rock, Face Off, and Con Air are 3 movies that will never be repeated. You'll never have a movie series or a trilogy of action films from one maligned actor that does such a wonderful job that he fucks up his entire life financially afterwards by thinking he can just print money.
And that's where Nicolas Cage went wrong. He made those 3 movies, and then he thought he could afford everything. And then after that, it's never been good for him.
And the actor that was in 9.5 Weeks, that guy, you make
That was
fun of
always
him a
good.
lot sometimes. What was his name?
Yeah.
He's not a very good actor either. And he's been in a few things, but I just don't think he's that good of an actor.
I just watched Kiss Kiss Bang Bang
Leaving
Bang.
Rodriguez probably might be a serious role.
I just watched a movie called Kiss Kiss Bang Bang like a week ago.
Mhm.
Don't know if you guys have seen it or not.
I haven't.
It's an early RDJ movie. And if you want to see RDJ right at the end of his addiction phase before he goes into Marvel.
Mhm.
That's probably the peak. And this young lady that I have the still on right now, where she's squirting the mustard on FDR,
Yeah.
that is a little young thing.
That's kind of hot. Not gonna lie, that's like an Anne Ramsey hot.
Yeah, that's Robin Sidney, and she's
I
in.
thought it was funny as this whole scene was funny as heck.
It's great. This is Robin Sidney. She's
Yeah, I
apparently
recognized her. She's been in a lot of other things that I've watched. I
she's
couldn't.
she's
put
in a
it-
movie I've been dying to see. I want to see this next holiday season.
Jeez.
The Gingerbread Man,
Mhm.
and it's got Gary Busey and Robin Sidney and Ryan Locke, and I must see this movie because that movie just that tells me it needs to be seen. I mean, it's Gary Busey. How can we not watch it? It's Gary Busey.
Very beautiful.
Well, mm, well, I'll watch it if you want me to watch it, but it's not one I would choose.
For those of you that have been enduring us for the past 41 minutes, we're late, by the way. I had some technical issues. If you've seen this movie before, which maybe none of you have, we've got 100. No, we got 41 people watching us right now. If you have seen FDR American Badass, I want to know what you thought about it, because I think this movie is like peak, and this is the variance of opinions, because Janet says the script is bad.
Mm-hmm. I
And
think it's a terrible
I'm
script.
saying the script is peak male testosterone and kineticism. I think for the subject matter, you're not going to get a better story about a president with polio, because this movie tries it. Like, the first act is very slow, but it's every line that's spoken is like they're on a
The
theater
dialogue is
play.
awesome.
Is there a way
And
to find out how many times the word fuck was used in that movie?
it wasn't that much.
Oh my God. Yes, it was.
Maybe
Hundreds of
70.
It was hundreds of times.
It
Almost
was
every character said it. It was a lot, but it's not that it was vulgar. It was just that it was overused. It was like somebody took a big rubber dildo and was beating you over the head with it, and they said "fuck" every time. It was like, you just get beat over the head with the same word. It just gets boring. That's why I said right off the bat, after I started watching it, I was like, this was written by a very young man, or a man that never matured when it came to fart jokes and pooping in a jar and talking about his cock, and you grow up one day. Joking around is one thing, but when you in every single scene, it just gets you just get worn out over it. Just wasn't funny. It just got to where it was like, it's the same thing over and over again. You know what I mean?
Janet's losing faith in the Delano 2000.
A student of history.
Well, I loved the chair. I thought it was freaking kick ass. And you could tell those are two exhaust pipes or whatever.
Yep.
On there. And I thought it was neat. I thought it was great.
I thought Dougie Mack,
In the movie's defense, they said the same thing about Willie Shakespeare back in the day. He was doing some pulp shit for the masses, and look what happened to him now, several hundred years later. Like, this is going to be one of those diamonds in the rough when we're all digitally in the matrix.
Yeah, you remember the movie Galaxy Quest?
Consortium.
Remember Galaxy
alien
Quest?
nations will look at this and go, this was the pinnacle of human existence when Earth was still around.
Yeah, but do you remember the movie Galaxy Quest? Six Nations?
Yes.
Did you see it?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
I know, but Six Nations. Did you see Galaxy Quest?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so do you remember the aliens, the octopus ones? that came thinking that, you know, Decker or all the people that were in the on that show were all like heroes. You know, they travel all through space.
Didn't realize it was a TV show.
Yeah, because they didn't realize that because it's sent out on a satellite. You know, and they picked it up and they've been watching it, thinking it was the actual adventures or whatever of someone, you know, like us, like me, and how much I love Star Trek. You know, that kind of stuff, right? So basically, somewhere way out there, away from us, someone's going to see this movie on another planet, and they're going to say, "Never go there." Which I think is going to happen. So I don't know. I just thought it was really bad. I thought it was a really bad movie. But honestly, some of the actors were really good, even though they had really bad writing and stuff. They did a good job portraying the characters. Just like I said, with the guy that played Mussolini, I thought he was kick-ass. To me, he was the top-notch actor in this movie. If one person had to get an award, it would be him. Now, my favorite scene in the movie was the one with Abraham Lincoln, which was, what was his name again? Kevin Sorbo. Kevin Sorbo. He did a phenomenal job in that movie as Abraham Lincoln, and funny. It was a funny scene. It was just good. It was a very well done scene, and the acting was excellent. The scenes were good. I mean, even the props, everything was of fun. It didn't take you away from the movie at all. And then the scene with the rubbing of the legs and how she's getting turned on by his legs. It was hilarious. And I don't know how everyone in that room weren't laughing. I mean, honestly, it just seemed like, because there's a lot of people when you make a movie, even a porn has like 12 people involved in that bedroom scene, lighting, sound, you know, Mr. person does the makeup, the hair, and straighten up the clothes, and, you know, whatever, or non-clothes.
The camera stuff. Work I did on South Padre Island, there was 14 of us in one room, and you would think that a like 2-bed hotel room would be fairly big space. But you get 7 people in a room, and suddenly you're kind of like you're scrunching your shoulders together, and you're like, I feel like
it's very limited space, but they did a really good job on a lot of these scenes. So I could tell that all the people involved making the movie, like the boom operator and the sound person, the person that took care of the lights, you know, the stand-in, if they even had any. I don't know if they could afford it or not, but all the different people, the makeup people, the people that did costumes and wardrobes, all that stuff, and Crafty, I'm sure Crafty was good. They did a great job, because it was not a cheap looking film. You know, it didn't look cheap. It didn't look like it was made by kids on the back seat.
Aspects of it were professional.
Yeah, it was all professional. Very professional. Mm-hmm.
Mac, you're going to have to watch this movie yourself at some point, because I can't really answer your question. You asked for a defined bad script. See movie bad or Kung Pao bad? This movie's like Kung Pao bad, but Kung Pao you can watch with grandkids and grandparents, and like you could have a Bible in the same room and there'd be no offense. This movie, you watch it and you're like kind of pushing your mom, hey, go in the dining room, why don't you go talk to like your aunt or something, or you look at your like senile grandfather, like, I don't need him to see this. You know, I don't want his movie.
But it wasn't so much what was seen; it was the wording. It was what they talked about. They talked about dicks and cooling, and there was lots of TNA. And I've seen grown people, older people that go to church and everything that are religious see movies with a flash of boobs and butt cheeks and stuff. So that wasn't really. It was the innuendos and the foul language and things like that. That was really bad. And you know, it was racist a little bit here and there. It was sexist because
I didn't find the racism to be.
No, I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was over the top. I'm saying some people are going to be going, "Oh, I can't really watch this." But the sexism was real bad too, where he was kept telling her to mind her place and stay in the back of the room, and you know all that stuff. But that's what I'm saying. I think it's great. I think they should make movies with anybody's perspective of their story that they're wanting to unfold for us as a viewer, because there is a market for everyone. I just believe that 100%. But if you were going to put this movie out the last 4 years, it would have you would have been crucified at the movie theater.
Well, I mean, have you ever heard of a movie called the American Magical Negroes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That was a
Sorry.
movie. One of the guys from In Living Color made this film, and it
One of the Wayans brothers.
Not one of the Wayans brothers, but it was a very interesting concept movie. But like, it got no traction because everybody stayed away from it. You would think the edgy people would go to it. The edgy people were like, "We're gonna see this on like some dark web shit. We're gonna watch this at home." And then the people that could have seen it and been okay with like going to see it in public, which like would be if you're a person of color that likes comedy and there's been nothing for you since I'm going to get you sucka, you go watch this movie and it should be fine for you. It should be perfect for you.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody saw that movie.
But why?
I don't know. The American Society of Magical Negroes. And it's got Justice Smith, Zach Barton, Anthony Coons. It just never got...
See, I was told that they thought I was kind of racist because I didn't want to go see Falcon as Captain America. And I said, well, it has nothing to do with him being black. If he was Falcon in a movie, Falcon movie, then I would go see it.
Yeah.
I just don't agree with who they passed the shield to. Should have went to Bucky, and that pissed me off. So I said, I'm not going to go see it. It had nothing to do with racism.
Anthony Coons.
There's so much that they can do with the Marvel universe that they're afraid to.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why superhero fatigue.
Give me a fucking Monica Rambeau story and don't alter it. Just take the fucking comics where her and her dad reconcile and her dad gives his piece and tells her he's proud of her. Give me that fucking movie and I will go back to films at the theater for $20 a person and give Disney their fucking green. Until then, no. And Disney, you fucked up everything you've touched. Because they will never make that movie. And I don't know why. That would be the perfect movie. You want to heal a nation? Start having culture like that come out in the theaters. Because that's one of the best comic book arcs I've ever read. And Monica Rambeau, for those that didn't know, she was kind of like in that same Captain Marvel bullshit. But beautiful girl, single dad raised her. And he did everything he could to try to teach her right and wrong. And then as like time went on, he realized what she was and who she was and what she was capable of. And he fucking tells her, he's like, I've done everything as a father that I should have, and I'm living the dream now. You've made me very proud of you. We could have a national moment where something like that would be echoed across all media over the course of 4 weeks. You just have that fucking repeated on the commercial trailer, and you would see a drop in crime because you would see people wanting to have a non-fatherless society again. But they're not going to go back to that. They gotta have the ugly chick twerk. Sorry.
Can't have somebody that looks like Pam Grier. Sorry. Not going to work. Got to be fugly.
I don't know. I just want him to pick a character that looks like the character from the comic book and can actually act. That's what I want. That's all I'm asking for. And take the stories from the comic books. Stan Lee was a genius.
Yeah.
I mean, he came up with so much stuff. Even Wonder Man. I mean, I think about characters like from the DC universe and how well the people that came up with the character and put it on a piece of paper and then got a cartoonist to draw it for him, came up with the concept, the backdrop, his story and all that stuff. That takes a lot of work. That's a lot of work to come up with so many different characters that are so unique and have such cool stories behind them. And that's the one thing that was to me was lacking in this movie. They didn't really try to make the characters interesting. They wanted to make the characters as perverse as possible. The couple in the farmhouse, and the guy has polio and he acts like he's from the movie Tombstone.
I thought you were talking
and
about
then he's got a bimbo.
Disney for a second. Sorry.
Oh no, I'm talking about back to the movie again. The fact that he just perversed everything. Everything was, perversion, basically. The whole movie was like that. All the characters. You couldn't even have a wholesome wife and husband where they loved each other, but instead he just hobbled around on this thing and he was drunk all the time, and she was sleeping with everything, or giving blowjobs to all the guys, or bending over while doing dishes or whatever and letting whoever bang her. She didn't care. It was sad because it was just perversion. And the fact that that's how he portrays politicians, I guess, and people in politics, or people that talk about being a Republican or being a Democrat, that's how he viewed it. At least that's how it came across on the writing for me for the script. Just like I said, I didn't know who he was, and I told you, this guy hates politics. He hates Democrats, he hates government.
It's a little bit stranger than fiction.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
What was it, like a year or two ago? All the shit that came out in Congress, the adult movies that were being made there.
All the porn from Congress?
Yeah.
Do what?
Yeah, like it wasn't too far off.
They're having sex in Congress.
This was 12 years ago, 13 years ago.
Yeah, this movie came out 13 years ago, and just like 8 months ago, there's 2 gay guys that had sex in Congress.
Yeah. Those 2 guys were able to get in there and have sex, but people went in there walking between the red lines and filming themselves, and they're all in prison. It's just pathetic. It's corrupt. Everything's corrupt when it goes to the government. And I hate the government myself too.
Isn't tomorrow the day that we see we see some changes? They're going to be there. Isn't a certification going on tomorrow?
I don't know. I know that some things I'm expecting a lot to happen between starting probably tonight till the 20th at least. We'll see. But
15 days, so we'll see what happens.
15 days until the countdown of 4 more years of
final
Trump syndrome for the rest of the world, for the thinking world.
I don't know.
I think it's great. I do. I'm loving it. These guys are losing their fucking minds.
Mm-hmm. They are.
I'm just watching the shit show. I'm just here to help clean up.
Just be hyper and very aware of your surroundings.
Well, I've been telling my friends, please don't go to places with lots, like farmers markets. If you go late or early when it's very few people there still, that type of thing. And I wouldn't want to go, sit in a football game or a basketball game where it's, going to have a lot of people or be televised. That's another thing. Try to stay away from places that are being televised, because that's what they want. These people want it to be
in an area where your local or state government isn't doing, take the necessary precautions.
Well, the thing
is,
New Orleans was it looked like they were the Canal Street. The video I saw, it looked like a normal night on the weekend, and you see the guy go down and then take a really quick right down Bourbon Street, and he ran over people right there on the sidewalk.
Yeah, they did have to redo some barriers. I think there was some last minute change, but from the time that he jumped out after he hit all those people and then tried to shoot people, it was 5 seconds before the cops took him down.
Yeah. Because
So
there was,
kudos to
remember
the police for doing their job. So
the police officer, the police chief said she had all 400 and something officers called out that night after that happened. and they did the grid pattern and everything. So every single New Orleans police officer was on duty, every single one of them. And they have to, because that's their livelihood. Without people trusting to be able to go there and have fun, relax, and let their hair down, there's no industry for them. It's over. So I'm hoping that they can get to the bottom of it and put everything out in the open and have transparency where people believe it, not a bunch of hokey pokey bullshit, or else they're just going to see dwindling numbers year after year until it goes belly up. And that's sad to say, but all these years we haven't had anything like that. You know, a shooting or a mugging and stuff like that is one thing, but a mass killings thing like that, it's not good. Wow, I can't believe you got that on camera, because most of them blur everything out and you don't see nothing. But look at that guy. It's the smugness on that guy's face when he's walking along, knowing nothing's going to happen to him. That's what he knows. The courts are going to do squat, and they don't.
Shit to him. And then there's a dad, being a good dad. This is what happens to pedophiles in America.
What should happen?
If we can't find a chipper shredder, we're going to wait for you in the airport.
In Slab City, in Southern California, in the desert.
Didn't this happen?
If you're a known pedophile or of women, you get your shit burned out, and they kick you out of Slab City.
We're going to probably get kicked off YouTube on this one here, but I found this loop on thanks to Just Jen Reacts on Twitter, and I just figured this would be kind of like a wholesome, like it's the same level of schlock as what we just watched, but this is more wholesome than the FDR American Badass, and this just fills me with joy seeing shit like this.
Well, it is nice. It's nice to see people that are guilty of shit to get punished, and that's why we've got to start fighting for our towns and our states to bring back law and order. Once people know in your house, okay, if you have 4 kids in your house and you have a kid that constantly steals out of your purse, steals from their brothers and sisters, and plays with knives and does all these things that puts everybody else in danger in your home, what do? Do you just say, oh well, he's just being a kid? No, you take his keys from him, you take his cell phone, and you ground him.
If you're not a pedophile, you're a gardener. That's what you are. We're all gardeners.
Be the warrior in the garden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have a hard time because I just went through all this, remember, in my family.
I know.
So it's tough, but these people need to be punished. But the sad fact is, it's not even going to be 3 more years, and he's already going to be going up on parole when he was supposed to get 20 yees. How is that possible? What is messed up in our society and in our towns? Okay, and everybody says, I'm from a conservative state, I'm from a red state, Florida or Texas or Arkansas. When pedophiles get a couple years after they took the livelihood, they took a child and made it an adult in 15 seconds, and now that kid will never be a kid again. They took that away from him, that child, and we're going to give them a bad. What the fuck is that?
Wrong. Yeah, you're a gardener. You get your line of credit squared away. You get one of these things right here, and you're a gardener.
But the thing is, we've got to start fighting for our families. We got to start fighting for our cities and our towns, and take our states back from these corrupt judges and lawyers, because they can't let a criminal have more rights than the victims. That's just disgusting.
Yeah.
Especially when you have DNA and you have video and you have tons of evidence. That it's just disgusting that they have.
And make sure when you're finished with your chipper shredder, you clean with gasoline.
Yeah. Ammonia. It's a bleach. It helps.
Yeah, ammonia's good.
Power washer.
We support gardening. We're not supporting violence. Sadly, there is no American Badass outtakes. I'm looking. I've been doing a detailed search on the interwebs, and I'm not seeing it. It makes me very, very sad.
It's probably because of the election results.
Hey,
you can watch the movie, dialogue's all hokey and whatnot, a little bit questionable for the younger viewers or maybe on whatnot, but you get up to where FDR kind of goes downhill from there with that one scene, and then it kind of bounces back up with other scenes, and it's these little tiny spikes in the movie that make you realize this isn't for all audiences, but it was funny.
Well, you have to like werewolves for one. You have to like a little bit of making fun of politics. Okay, if you make fun of politics and you like werewolves and you like TNA, you'll love this movie. It's a perfect movie for you.
As a man who,
if you're looking for a pure werewolf movie, go or Wolf or any plethora of the.
What's your werewolf movie you pop in whenever you just want to watch a werewolf film? You're not going to watch it. It's already in your head. You hearing the dialogue puts the images of the movie in your head, and your imagination's stuffing in other things you're thinking of while this is going on. What's the movie that of the werewolf genre that you have on when you're doing other things? Like if you were painting this Tiamat figure, what would you be painting it to? What was the werewolf film?
For me, it would be like American Werewolf in London.
Good film.
Underworld.
And there's
Van Helsing.
Yeah, Van Helsing.
I want to like Van Helsing. I don't like Van Helsing.
Like I
There's things I like
have
about
that
it.
in the background while I'm vacuuming and stuff. It's not that I actually listen and see something, action packed, and I go, "Oh yeah, doing my chores."
But you guys didn't like Underworld?
The first two Underworlds I've
Underworld
seen.
I did all the first two.
Great.
But I love vampires, so I love vampires, and I do. Wolfen, yeah, that's another one. There's a lot of good werewolf movies. Even the movie we watched, Fright Night, for vampires, and the werewolf scenes in that were really kick-ass. The one where he's turned into
A Company of Wolves. That was a good one.
Haven't seen that one yet. Need to.
That British movie with the werewolves on the train. That one was good.
I haven't seen that one. Write that down. That sounds interesting.
It's been in the last couple of years.
I haven't seen it.
But
I love horror movies. I really do love horror movies. And I don't really care too much for comedies. I'm very, very picky on comedies. So, that's hard for me too. And I don't really like romance stuff that much. I mean, a movie I'm trying to think of a good romance movie that I really liked that was very sexual, had a lot of, remember the movie I said I want to watch it, we haven't done it yet, A Postman Always Rings Twice? That's it. The one scene where she's making bread in the kitchen, Jessica Lange, and whatever his name is. Damn it, I can't remember his name. I can't remember his name.
But yeah, if I got it playing on the background and I'm like,
Jack Nicholson comes in and they start arguing, about she wants to stop her relationship with him. They start arguing in the kitchen. Next thing you know, they start making out and they start throwing everything off of the bread table and they're just rolling around on the table. Man, that scene that turn you on like that. And you're covered head to toe with flour. I was like, wow, that's a good scene. So there's a lot of good movies like that out there if you want to watch them. For sex and adult content, and it's romantic and it's very well done movies, that type of stuff. So, there are movies out there, but that's a really good one.
Howling.
The Howling, yeah, that was a good one too.
Well,
oh, I haven't seen the series.
Even the third one with the marsupials.
I need to see all the Howling movies. So I've seen
Bullet. I forgot all about that one. That's a good one too, even though it was a Stephen King movie.
We'd like to give a shout out.
Hey, that one had a wheelchair too.
Yeah.
Shout out to our friend the Crafting Gamer. For 14 months, he's been at the Somehow I Have a Fan level, which I didn't ask him to do that. He didn't have to, but I appreciate it, sir. We do put the money back towards the channel, internet and electricity and Google fees and such. But here in a bit, he gifted me some miniatures, and I'm getting a compiled list of things I want to get to him in a bundle back over to Idaho. So he has miniatures to paint on stream, because I don't want to be the only one that does this. But I want to say thank you to the Crafting Gamer. Thank you, David. It means a lot for 14 months, sir. You didn't have to do that, but thank you.
Yeah, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat, because I can't. I don't have any. I'm only streaming to X, so I can't type on this setup. Sorry.
This setup here, you can't really type to the chat.
YouTube, so
Yeah, Bruce
I'll just have to say
can,
that.
because he's the one streaming it. We're just connected to him.
I want to look. I really do want to
He's the
like Van Helsing.
organ
Go ahead, David, or Joshua. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying, you're the organ grinder. I'm just the monkey on the show.
Thanks.
Yeah, we're monkeys.
I wanted to like Van Helsing. I went and saw it in theater, and it
wasn't my
there was
favorite,
some tropes in it.
but for a couple, okay, this is like geared towards little kids that aren't into the old school. You know, this is for the millennials, Gen, whatever the hell we have now.
I really liked
The young kids that don't understand stuff that was like cool back 40 years ago. So it grew on me.
I love the
best
kid that played the monk.
It's got some action. It's got
romance.
You know, little way.
Yeah, a lot of teenage. Mm-hmm.
So it hits little marks. So I can't like completely hate it.
Well, what did you not like? Did you
if
not
I'm going-
like the Dracula character, Bruce? What was it that you didn't like?
I want to say it's actually the direction of the movie. Like it should hit everything for me. It's got vampires, it's got werewolves, it's got steampunk, it's got Van Helsing. It's got Van Helsing in a 007 style role.
Yep.
Why do I not love this movie? What part of the movie fails for me? And
was it her? Was it her character?
I don't know.
A lot of people I know that are guys, they said they love Van Helsing, they love the monk, they love Dracula, they love the werewolf, the way the werewolf was portrayed and everything. They said the only thing that was kind of like a boil on it was she wasn't needed in the movie. She was just like a.
If all it is that she's just eye candy, and that's where the movie falls apart for me, then I could understand that. But it might be something more, or it just might be Kate Beckinsale in the one time where like she is just like a radiant flower. She's an ageless flower. No matter how old she gets, she continuously blooms. She's not fading at all. And she's one of those rare types. Yeah, like that the ass of hers, like that thing hasn't fallen yet. And she's in her 50s, and it's still like setting up right. I don't
exercise.
good exercise. Okay.
Yeah, you gotta stay working out.
Dude, I'm gonna be 48 this year, and I look like hammered shit compared to her.
I look like melted cheese.
I need to get one of them Hollywood workouts, I think.
No, just go buy you a vibration plate. Start using that.
Hoodwinked is for 9th of February, their Crafting Gamer. Next week's show is Ace Ventura in the night. Ace Ventura. I forgot the one that Bear mentioned that I wanted to see. I'll have to go back and rewatch that. Cat People is on the 19th of January. The Addams Family.
Which version?
Say again?
Which, the older one or the 70s one?
Klaus Kinski's daughter one.
I think that's the original one, isn't it?
Oh no, that's.
Let me check. I think it's the 70s. In 1982 one. There's a 1982 Cat People that I keep hearing about, and it's got Natasha Kinski in it, and Malcolm McDowell and John Hurd. And lately, Say again.
That was a decent one. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that one.
I've never heard
I
of
think
other.
that's the only one I've seen. I don't remember any other ones in.
Well, I was thinking of like it was the 30s or the black and white kind of old
There's a
time,
40s one.
Yeah, I
almost
don't
like a
normally
Dr.
watch really
Moreau.
old movies like that.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. You're
I've
talking about the one with Simone Simon.
watched a shit ton of those movies, and so it's like, oh, which version is that? It's like, I like Dracula. Which one?
Yeah. You're talking about this one here, Cat People.
Yeah,
And it's got a fucking
like that
7.2
wasn't bad
rating.
for the time. Like, it's a good film.
American man marries a
It's a little
Serbian
bit over
immigrant.
today's standards, but
She turns into a cat person of her homeland's fables if they're intimate together. Simone Simon, Tom Conway, and Kent Smith. We'll have to check this out sometime.
Oh, so every time she has sex, she turns into a cat?
No, she's worried that if she has sex, she turns into a cat.
Oh.
She has the curse, and so she'll hunt and kill by night. So
no, if
As
only
a
she knew about
panther?
Necco Girls.
yeah,
So she actually turns into literally a cougar.
apparently, like this
The
is
Black
Interesting.
Panther.
Yeah, I'll watch that one. I haven't seen it before.
shit. I'll just swap over our cat people to the 19. I'll have to find a good stream of it, or figure out how I can get Garrett to not let Plex fall apart
Well,
on me.
if I ever get monetized, I'm going to start donating to your channel so that we can get some type of.
I need a
always
better
have movies.
I need a better access to a stream service though, that whenever like I look for these obscure things, like today, Plex just completely shit the bed on us. It completely Amber Hearded on me.
What's the best streaming service there is?
Well, the thing is that a lot of them have encoding that you can't restream it to others. You
The
can't
best
share it
streaming service
on Discord.
That there is what cannot be said on YouTube
Yeah,
because of certain.
yeah. They don't want you to say that.
Well, I don't know what the word is, so just put it in the private chat.
Put it in the private chat for Janet. Help her out.
But the thing is, if maybe you shouldn't, because I might say it out loud, then get in trouble. So I don't want to do that. I've had my channel taken down.
Mr. Clarence
few
of the
times already.
FBI would not approve.
But it's just, I wish there was a way that we could figure out, because I would give you the money so that we can have a good place to be able to watch movies. You know what I mean? I would do that.
I just need a
Now,
win lottery.
I just heard that Elon said that he was going to have XTV.
Okay, so this is what we do. We invest in Starlink and a huge ass radio tower. Then we go buy a trawler, get off the coast of Texas there, the Gulf Coast, and we just do pirate stream radio movies and internet.
That sounds good.
So anyway, the movie next week we were watching, if you guys didn't hear it, is Ace Ventura from 1994.
Awesome.
I think it's 94. It might be 93.
Yeah, I don't remember.
We'll
I just
watch
remember
that.
getting to go see it and laughing and laughing and laughing. And I actually liked Courtney Cox in that movie.
She was hot in Dream On.
Oh, they're going to cancel the election certification because of the DC snowstorm. Sorry, guys. Pack it up. Go home. We'll do it some other time. I can see it happening.
Well,
Kamala's like,
they can do it in Mar-a-Lago. They can swear him in.
You go ahead. Get on my jet. Get on my jet. I would love to see Trump try to push all the DC elite onto his Trump Force One and get on the jet. I'll follow you in Air Force One. We'll get to Mar-a-Lago. It'd be fine. I would laugh my ass off so bad. Sorry. I know you got a little bit.
Kamala would drink on the.
What you're assuming that she would stop drinking at some point when she's awake.
Yeah, I was really surprised when they did the
20 million in debt.
When they were trying to vote for Johnson, and Hillary, not Hillary, but Nancy Pelosi showed up, I was like, damn, I thought she would croak after getting her leg or her hip broken. So it didn't work. Oh, that's why Dan Aykroyd is dead, is he found Captain Winky. That wasn't Dan Aykroyd. That was some other character, but I can't remember what his name is. Do you remember the name of the actor that was in that movie?
I can't remember the name of it. Captain Winky, though, but that just brought a smile on my face. Leave it to Crafting Gamer to have a quip like that. Seriously.
I know.
By the way, Crafting, we're going to be watching Hoodwinked on the 9th of February. So you'll be seeing that. The remaining films for January, Ace Ventura, Addams Family on the 26th, and then we're going on February 2nd is... I can delete that. That's today. February 2nd is Willow.
Yeah, that's a good. I love Willow. It's a good movie.
That's going to be an epic one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I gotta raid Bear's stash and be like, okay, I need to borrow you because you had some thoughts.
Yeah, just tell him to send you a list of movies that he thinks it would be fun to review, and then we'll just stick them here and there in the list.
In the roster.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have it on my Google Drive
and
now.
I like 2 or 3 times outside of the theater, and I really like the film.
Yeah, I bought the movie.
See, I saw Ace Ventura when it came out, and it had been out for a while, so we saw it at the Dollar Theaters in Corpus Christi, which, if you know SPI Drive, that's a long road that leads you to the island, but on the way, you've got a very low dollar mall out there, and you can go to this mall, and you can go to the theaters for literally $1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's little dollar theaters all over the place down here where I'm at, and because people aren't very
Americana right there.
Yeah, and I even drove past a drive-in theater, so there is at least one drive-in theater I know of in Arkansas. Probably more.
Let me remind
that
why Joe Biden is dead. He found Captain Winky. Wow. Are you saying that he was in?
He found. Was it on Miss Obama?
God, I would laugh my ass off if Biden got so dementia riddled that he reached over and grabbed Mike's cock. I would just.
I don't even think they even go near him anymore.
No, I don't think Barack puts himself in that position. I think
because the last time I saw a video where they were in the same room together, Barack was surrounded with people and they were all shaking his hand and all that stuff. And Biden was standing on the outside, kind of wandering around, not knowing where he was.
At the very end of that, did Barack go behind Biden and guide him by the back to go somewhere?
I don't remember. I just saw that.
That was the last time.
So I don't remember where it was at, but I had seen Obama go up on a stage and get him and take him off stage because he didn't even know where it was. And that was before he even got voted in. The guy was already cuckoo by then. And then there was that cool interview with Tucker and I think it was Alex Jones. And they were both saying, yeah, I have people on the inside. And my insider told me that Biden wanders around naked all the time in the White House. And then Tucker said, I have one that said the same thing. So maybe they had the same guy or same person.
2 years just to be functional.
Oh, yeah. He was already defunctional before he was even put in office. When he was a vice president, he was already way out there, didn't even know who he was. So it's just the thought of him. I wouldn't even go and shake his hand. So I would say, go ahead. You can go in front of me. Have fun.
If you actually reach around to a Biden's backside, you're going to find where the puppet hole is located, or what we call the Soros closet.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Yep. Janet, I mean, I'm not expecting a low number. I'm not expecting a high number here. What did you rate this movie?
Well, It wasn't terrible. I mean, everything about the movie was very professional, quality wise, except for the script. So that's the only. Normally, I'm always real bad with editing, but the editing was great. I mean, I loved how they spliced it together by the old Batman symbol type of looking cartoon. I just thought it was great. There was a lot of good things when it came to editing. The music wasn't bad. I mean, it was the special effects weren't even as bad as the script. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give it a 6. It's still better than a lot of movies that I definitely wouldn't give the other one.
She said a 6 out of 10, not a 6 out of 100.
10. Yeah, no, 6 out of 10. I always do a 10, up to a 10.
And just for those of you that are wondering what my low bar is, it's G.I. Jane, and that movie is.
No, you said Bad Girls was worse.
Bad Girls is not worse than G.I. Jane. Bad Girls is a functional movie that I don't want to watch again. G.I. Jane is a movie that I would physically hinder myself trying to get to a place to watch it, or I would hurt myself getting away in haste to not watch it again. That movie is such shit science fiction. Every time I think about it and try to think of the plot points, and there's only one part that's accurate. It's where the lieutenant is looking at a map and she fucks up the coordinates. Mm-hmm. That movie, that's the only accurate part of that movie. But everything else in that movie is science fucking fiction, military science fiction at its absolute worst. Even the feminist sci-fi of the late 60s looks better than G.I. Jane. 21 out of 100. Mm-hmm. I wanted to say 16 out of 100, but I'm not that cruel. 21. Six Nations.
Well, what about for this movie?
What?
What about for this movie we just watched?
We'll get to that in a second. I want to ask Joshua what he thought of this movie.
Well, is it Crippled Masters? No. Does it have a cool word? Yeah. Something on the line like Iron Sky, or just schlocky movie from the 80s. It I said, it's got crass humor. It's very offensive. This was, during the time before the Me Too's.
In the vagina hats.
Yeah, like I'm trying not to think about that. That's reality, and that's scary compared to the shit that I experienced in 2024 and now into 2025. But I've got a tough skin, and I can handle what's coming to the best of my abilities. At least 5 out of 10, 50%. So that's like average. Like, this will be a movie that you can watch. You might enjoy some parts, but is it going to be like highbrow, well written? No. Of producing the movie is freaking spot on. Mm-hmm. The dialogue, as retarded and juvenile as it is, it captures you up until the election, and then it gets weird in a scat kind of way. And I'm not, but can head scat innuendo. This was no innuendo. It's got werewolves. It's got Nazis. It's got a lot of really good actors, and the actresses are doing their best in whatever roles they're doing. I would say that it's like 60, 65. Like it's better than like being bored and watching TV with nothing to do, because there's little moments that keep you interested, and then there's some damn funny parts, like the whole Abe Lincoln thing.
Oh yeah.
Like the tiny little polio legs. Like, who the hell owns those? I want to figure that out. Who's got that prop? That was and funny, and my sights while they were jiggling them, like it's got its moments. And then there's some stuff that like you're going, God, why did they do that? And it's got to be an inside joke, or some sort of jab at maybe a producer or an executive off camera. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
This is definitely a movie you want to see with older teenagers or 20 somethings or under the influence, or you get a bunch of movies that are just really crap and you want to unwind and decompress from all the drama in the world that's going on today. Get a handful of these movies, pop them in your VCR, DVD player, whatever you're doing, and you just zone out and watch some comedy, have some laughs. It's going to be a decent film for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in everyone's wheelhouse. If you got eclectic taste in movies, you will start nitpicking it and finding the different granular levels, and you can admire in certain things. Other things, just push it out of your memory, like floral arrangements, hot dogs, and ketchup and mustard. You might end up having a new fetish. Who knows?
Yep.
But it was very pro. It wasn't ableist.
No.
Like London, they actually built FDR. And he's standing. Those assholes. Show him how he really was. Not this larger than life figure. The revisionist history was interesting, but from the real histories. So it's a mixed bag, and you'll enjoy it or you'll hate it, or you'll get a funky, yeah, this is great, but I don't like, Neapolitan ice cream with walnuts type of thing. So bottom line, watch it.
I want to add real quick though. If I had sat and watched this movie by myself, I probably would have hated it more. But because I got to sit and watch it with both of you,
take care, Matt.
It made it way more entertaining. That's all I wanted to add. Go ahead, Bruce. I'm sorry.
This movie takes me back to when I first discovered the veteran comedy scene, and I want to say that this wasn't the first Ross Patterson project I'd bumped into. I was in Round Rock, Texas on Thanksgiving 2016 and watching this film called Range 15, which is on our list of things to watch. Mm-hmm. And Ross Patterson is in that film. He had moved to Austin at the time, and he had a podcast which he was doing out of Austin, and he had a bunch of people in the vet bro community. He had some vet bro coffee people get close, and so they were starting to do a vet bro scene over in San Antonio, and it was gonna be over in Austin, and Austin looked like it was gonna be the place to be if you were a vet. And something happened. I don't know what it was, but at the time I was an ambassador for BRCC, Black Rifle Coffee Company. And I was actually churning money with a link. Here's 12% off. And I was actually able to afford like 1 or 2 bags a shipment that I wasn't paying for. The stream was paying for it. Not this stream, but like just me handing out the link for that. Because like I had people in the oil field, they got addicted to it. I had friends that I was bumping into all over the place, and BRCC was turning into this big fire. It was viral. And so, you have a link? I have a link. Like, fuck yeah. So, I got your taxes. Here's 12% off. It was great. But then something happened, and I don't know what happened over there. Jared Taylor was involved with Drinking Bros, and then he moved to the Bernie area. Matt Best put out a thing for BRCC asking them where they wanted to see BRCC have their headquarters. And it wasn't long after that San Antonio was going to be the headquarters, because the vet community in San Antonio is probably the largest in the nation. And I'm not trying to slight San Diego or Norfolk or anywhere in Georgia that's got a military base nearby. I'm not trying to pick on you, Leavenworth, but I'm just saying that the vet community in San Antonio told this guy, bring your coffee company here. We've got people. And so a lot of them came over here, and I started making inroads and talking to people. It looked like my life was going to go on a different path for a while. And I was really impressed with just who I was meeting and who I was bumping shoulders with. And then the Drinking Bros podcast kind of fell off. They might still be doing it. I just haven't heard much from him lately. But that this movie takes me back to a time when my movement to Texas, like 3 years later, like I knew I'd made the right choices, because I'm bumping into the type of people I want to meet. I'm bumping into the type of imaginative, creative individuals that I want to be around. People that have served, people that have like got limbs missing, people that have got stories to tell, and people that are always there. They got your back. And that was it, you know. Like, I didn't recognize who my actual friends were at the time, because we were all kind of out for each other. We were very shallow. We're content creators on YouTube, but we were trying to do things, and it was kind of disorganized. But it gave me a few lessons in that process. If you go back in my timeline, you can kind of see things change a little bit. But I discovered my tribe about 2016, and so it was really just a good learning point for me when I went from 40 to 41. So I can't really ignore how this movie makes me feel. That's an emotional feeling. That's not logical. That I'll try not to figure that into my score. On the weight to the script, I feel the script is just fucking juvenile humor, ratcheted up to 12. And you could say things like, the person that wrote this was young, the person that wrote this was immature. But at the same time, you can still see hints. You still see in the cracks, you can see that there's some genius in there, and we just need time to mature it and see what happens afterwards. Because maybe Ross Patterson will turn into this great comedy writer. His podcast isn't bad. He's still got a lot of the vet bro community that goes on his show, or last I heard, they were still kind of in orbit, but a lot of that's broken up. I don't even think the guys from Nick Pomascano, one of the guys that was involved with Range 15, he was involved with another company that Matt Best was not involved with. They went together, they made Range 15, because they had Ranger Up and they had Article 15 companies, and they made Range 15. Odd name there, but like, just there's a schism. And so I don't know if that group of people still even lingers together. I know a lot of them came to San Antonio and Bernie. It just kind of helped that being away from a bad situation has helped me out. I could have worked for Black Rifle Company as a low-level phone operator, and I could have been a chronic alcoholic. So I'm pretty happy I took the choices I did. Anyway, my rating for this movie, now that we got that out of the way, my rating for this movie is a 75 out of 100. I feel that the script, as juvenile as it might be, there's an audience out there, and you know people that are starving for this, because they're not making movies anything like this today. There are people that run screaming from movies like this. They will not watch Young Frankenstein or Blazing Saddles. They will definitely not watch a film like this. But there is a group of people out there that want you to introduce something like this to them. It's crass. It's got foul humor. It's lowbrow humor. And it will make them laugh. It will cause them joy.
Degenerates of the world, you know.
You have to find the people that appreciate you in your journey. And no matter what you might think, like, oh, you don't have like 20% to make 100%, you're only 80% compatible. A lot of people fuck up and they don't realize you're an 80% friend. The 20% we disagree on, we take sandpaper and we file away the good things about our friendship instead of enjoying the things we do like together, the things we do agree on together. I feel this is a 75% rating because the script for that group of degenerates, which I so proudly associate with, I think this movie should get a fucking resurgence. And I know that sounds terrible, but it has the proper amount of schlock for the special effects. Those aren't werewolves. That nobody there sat in a darkened room with a mouse and keyboard and was ogling over 6 different monitors trying to get the polygons right and get the hair to move properly when the wind blew. No, they went to a fucking Spirit Halloween store for their costuming. Fuck yes. They did everything so properly. And I think that it's the right level of special effects. I think all the horrible CGI in this movie, and there's a lot of bad green screen, like, it just makes... I was sober for this stream. This is the first time I've watched this movie sober. And I feel bad because of it, because I know that even when I drink a lot with this movie, I know that I enjoy this movie more because it just makes me giddy. It makes me giggle. There's so many parts where I'm just slapping my hand on my face like, I fucking filmed that. They fucking filmed that. And there's a part where little Roosevelt, he poops in a jar. And this time I was sober when I watched it, and I'm like, I wonder if he really pooped in a jar.
It looked real.
You really don't know. Like, it could be a special effect, but
it looked real.
With the special effect.
The angle they used and the cheap props that they used, I'm telling you, I really believe he really pooped in that jar.
Find out if he's a method actor.
I don't know, but I think he pooped in it.
If he had to get in character.
And I felt the acid going, oh my God, I'm going to throw up. Because it was that believable to me. And they didn't have that much money, or they didn't spend a lot of money.
And then you look at the chair. It's got freaking room conduit that's been painted up like brass.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, it's got these varying levels of tech used for the special effects. And then there's that one scene and you're looking at it like, what did I just watch?
I felt like I was like peeking through a hole out of the closet on somebody doing something that nobody's supposed to do. I know I went in and out of that mode. I can't explain it, but I laughed more because of you guys' comments and laughs. So that's what I recommend everyone. If you're going to watch a movie like this, watch it with your friends. Have some beers, have some popcorn, chips and nachos or whatever. Sit down and put your feet up and enjoy it. Because if you like werewolves and you like satire and schlock, that type of stuff, you're going to really like this movie. You're going to enjoy it. And laughing with your friends is something I recommend everybody do right now, because we are way past needing that. And I do want to see movies like this come back, because people should be able to enjoy movies that make them laugh. And I really want to see that again.
I can't agree more with you on that. That's a discussion that we should probably try to focus more on. And I know that, like, whenever we talk about politics, it's all hate, beat up on British police, whatever. But I mean, there's some positivity out there that we could really do some good for. And this movie, as poor as this movie is on so many levels, I'm not going on the morality aspect. My mother, my lovely mother, If she knew that I enjoyed this movie a handful of times, literally fifth time watching it. No, yeah, 5 times watching it. It's the first time I've ever been sober. The first 2 times I watched it, I wasn't really even able to watch it. I was in the room, but not seated facing TV. But what I was enjoying what I was seeing. It's a bad movie that like
It's a good bad movie.
It warms my heart. It's like watching that piece of shit pedophile get shot in an airport. Like stuff like that just makes you feel alive inside. Like I'm so happy he's gone. Like this movie
I
is that
laughed.
same level.
I cried.
Yeah.
I gagged.
Yeah.
I gagged for sure.
It was a roller coaster of emotion.
Yes.
It was horrible.
Mhm.
It was awesome. You're just like, this is really fucking cool. And then you're like, I hate myself for watching this because what am I witnessing here? Why am I still watching this? And then it goes to like some stupid ass gag. Your sides are hurting. I had to mute my mic. Like it's one of those movies where you should watch it, but make sure that you're in the proper company, the proper mindset,
Yeah.
and don't
Yeah,
expect
I
it
don't
any more than what it
can't
is.
have any kids running around because the F word is used many multiple times. And if you have a toddler, they're going to be saying it over and over again.
This is like an F-bomb frequency movie, like what Glenn Ross is. Just to let you know, that F-bomb's a comma.
Yeah.
It happens, but I'm gonna watch this movie again, and when I find a good stream of it that's uninterruptible, I'll throw it out there like, hey, we're gonna watch a really bad movie, and God bless you, Ross Patterson, for writing one of the most gracious scripts for a 12-year-old boy like me, and I'm so thankful for you. Thank you, Janet, for enduring our childish behavior today.
Oh, it was great. I enjoyed it.
I love this movie to a degree that's very unhealthy.
No, because you know what? To me, by watching you watch this, it's almost like it's a good release for you.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you relieve stress. And I can tell, I mean, because I've known you long enough to know that I could just see your tenseness just fall out of your face. You know what I mean? It's a good movie for you. You should watch things like this that make you laugh out loud. Laughing like this, that's not the same thing. You were laughing out loud, and it made me laugh. So it's good to be with people when you're getting to laugh out loud and just let it all out. Just get into it because you're liking the release that you're getting, the endorphins that you're releasing for your health. All that's good stuff. And I guarantee, even though you didn't have a drop to drink because during the movie, you're going to sleep good tonight because your body released a lot of things that you need to get out. And the same thing with sex. If you have good sex, you feel great the next day. You're like, wow, yesterday was not as good as I hoped, but that movie really made me feel good. Or I worked out because the day after I work out, I just feel like a new person. I mean, I can't explain it, but that's what it is. It's a chemical change in your body, and we all need that. And laughter is one of the things that does help heal people. So it's good for you.
I love this movie, and I know that it's not everyone's cup of tea, and that's fine. You guys,
I'm going to pray for all y'all because you endured this, and you're at the same level as me. So I think we all need the help.
We I'll accept that. Like I said, next week, kids.
I mean, I'm the most sincere way possible, by the way.
If you like what we see here, you can follow me and Janet on Twitter. Janet is Janet from Another Nine, I believe, correct?
Yeah. But it's just type in Janet from Another Planet. I should be at the very close to the very top.
And then if you like me, it's Good Luck Idiots, Twitter. and that's my sincere hope for humanity right there. Good luck, idiots. I want to say our sincere condolences to Aubrey Plaza. She lost her husband earlier this month. He was 47. He was a very accomplished.
Friday?
Say again?
Friday? It was just a couple of days ago.
I think it was Friday. Yeah, a couple of days ago. Earlier, he just. I think it might have been like something he had in his system. Maybe follow me there. But for all of you guys that like Aubrey Plaza, now you have a chance.
Well, give her some time to grieve first.
There's never a
10-year
too
relationship,
soon.
Then they get married.
There is. I mean, if you just go up and you hug her and you tell her, "I'm sorry for your loss," that's this opening, but you're not saying, "Damn, you're hot. You're single." Don't do that. That's what I mean. I've seen some guys do that before. So I even had guy friends that would go to funerals
I'm sorry for your
hit on women.
Your loss. Hey, you want to watch FDR American Badass?
One of the girls I knew from high school when I was like 20, 21 years old, she died in a car accident. And so it was kind of like a miniature reunion for all of us in a class of 93. There was a total of 90 of us out of the class of 93, and now there's like 87 in 97 now. And like I'd say 60 of us kind of met up and we brushed against each other's shoulders in that funeral parlor. And I gotta say that like it's kind of awkward when one of the girls you knew in high school, like she wears the same perfume, which just it brings back a memory. And for like Janet, I feel sorry for you on this. Well, not really, because I know women have the same reaction where your sex organ gains a heartbeat and it starts directing you in your activities.
Yeah, because cologne does the same thing for women.
Cologne's terrible. I'm at the fucking funeral parlor and I'm posting wood and I'm trying to like hug people from far away. And one of the girls, Carissa, she's just bawling her eyes out. Come here, Bruce. And then like all of a sudden her eyes get wide as like against the fabric. Like it's and I'm like, Carissa, this isn't the time. And she's looking at me like in a different light. I was never like I was in the Omega class, not the Alpha class. I was a chud in high school.
Yeah.
I haven't changed much, but I was a geek and I did geek stuff and went to the Navy. When I came to the Navy, I was more focused on fitness and such. And you don't see the same fat fuck that you see here. We have photos, we have interwebs, but I was 22 or 21 years of age at the time, and like it was just like kind of too fit for the
still in your prime.
Yeah, seriously.
You're like, down, boy, down.
And then like the rest of the time I was at the funeral parlor, I'm trying to position myself to angle towards the exit because it's not going away. Like Annabelle's like I can still smell it if I think about it for 10 seconds. I can get the scent in my nostrils and I'll have the same reaction, which is not pleasant unless I need the reaction, which is great because it's a simple trick, man. If you learn how
make sure you go buy that and keep it at home, because if that works for you, then that's great. But there's a lot of people that lost their sense of smell, and it's really hurt a lot of marriages.
Blue velvet and like cup it.
The memory of that smell does more for me than the smell itself. It's a wonderful thing, but I couldn't get out of the funeral home fast enough because like I was downwind of Annabelle, and like all I want to do, I want to leave, and I'm here hugging for another 20 people, and like it's kind of weird because like 6 of them were dudes, and so we're crossing swords, and I didn't feel bad because like there were other guys having the same male issues as I was, where we're all together. We haven't seen each other in a few years. Why don't we all go hang out and drink together? So like that night, the Warrensburg PD had like 3 DUIs from like one stop. It was great, but wasn't involved with that. But I got to say it was very interesting because like I'm just trying to leave. Let me grab my girlfriend and go. She wasn't from your high school. We're just trying to leave. And I was happy that I wasn't the only one that was affected like that. Like that was like, okay, I'm not the only one. Good. No, I always dug her perfume. That's good. Listen, I need to get behind the road so I can go rub this out while I roll down the road. Okay, I'll talk to y'all later. Being in your 20s is great. Kids,
Do you even know what this perfume was? Which one it was? What brand it was? Or anything? That you could buy it if you wanted it?
I don't even think they make it anymore. So
Well,
I thought they discontinued it in 2005, and it wasn't like a super expensive cologne either or perfume either. It was like a $50 bottle for like 3 ounces.
yeah, that's not too bad, I guess.
No, it was a relatively inexpensive one, but that was like, and I never. It was just one that, like, wow, that's good to know. $50 can provide that. Thanks.
Well, I know what I like, what I think smells good, but I've never had anyone tell me, wow, what perfume you're wearing. I've never had anyone ever tell me that. So mine might not be very good.
Remember this, gentlemen, when we have the meetup. Tell Janet she smells nice.
Well, the thing is, I like Vera Wang. I like Coach. There's quite a few different ones. I love Baby Soft. Loves Baby Soft. I used to wear that when I was in high school. That was my favorite.
There was a female deodorant, Degree Sport or Female Sport Degree, and that almost completely did the same thing for like $6 of a rub-on cologne for females. Almost does the same exact thing.
There was I think it was on that Man show years ago, and they had 2 women. They were twins, and they dressed them in exactly the same outfit, and they put regular cologne on one girl, and the other one they put those pheromones on her. And they had the first girl go in, and she walked through and went to the ladies' room, and she came back and kind of like walked around and stood in the spot and walked out. Okay. And then they did the twin with the other clone, and she walked by, and as soon as she walked by, all the guys were like turning. So cologne, the right cologne does make a difference.
Yeah.
So
huge difference.
I was gonna say, and it was
a trip how long your brain remembers that sort of thing, because like I remember sometime after Thanksgiving we got something in the mail that had perfume on it. It was some sort of cologne, and I had a flashback when I was 4, when my mom married my stepdad, and we had a friend of the family that wore this cheap ass like $5 cologne, and he's sitting in the back of the limo, and we got all these people crammed in there, and nobody had been choking on this crap cologne, and just hating my life for the 20-minute drive that it took to get up to the redwoods to get the party started. And so this thing comes in the mail, and I get a flashback of that, and for an instant I'm like, holy shit, I'm 4 years old again, playing with my belly button, waiting for this freaking ceremony to be over with. I'm like wondering what the hell is.
There was a haunted house I remember we went to when I was little. I think I was like 6, because I think I was 6. And my dad was holding Sandy, and I was hanging on his leg. And then Dan and Kathy were behind us, and we were going through one of the haunted houses, and one of those really scary ones. I mean, they're like real professional. And it was in Spokane, Washington. And I remember we went by this casket, and it had a smell of like musty burlap kind of smell, and then the casket slowly opened up, and Sandy started screaming, and we were Dan and Kathy, everybody was screaming, and Frankenstein was coming up behind us. And now every time I smell wet burlap smells, those type of smells, I get instantly my hair on the back of my neck stands up, and I get fear, a sensation of fear. So it does affect you as a kid. If you have a scent that goes with something in your memory, you'll remember it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very powerful.
Like my grandmother on my paternal grandmother, lavender garden in English in the backyard of her Eichler home, and so like every time I want to calm down or something like that, I'll get some spritzing in my room or whatever.
They have it in a little spray bottle, and you can spray it on your pillow and stuff before you go to bed to help you sleep, things like that. That's the kind of stuff I use.
my maternal grandfather, he wore a lot of Old Spice. So, like, for a long time, that was my aftershave of choice. My friends were into, like, Brute and Cool Water. I had a bottle of CK1 once. I got it cheap at Ross. And so, like, some of those smells kind of remind me, or junior high, or, a couple years afterwards, and we did some weird. It just brings up a memory of that. It's kind of trippy.
Yeah, I don't know the names of some of the colognes because I just smelled them on people. But I've smelled a couple of colognes where I went, and I turned to see who it was because they did smell really good, whoever it was. And I didn't, they were strangers. I wasn't going to ask them what cologne they were wearing. But yeah, so women care about cologne. I think cologne affects women. Well, not every woman, but I think it affects women, lots of women, the same way a perfume might affect a man. So.
Yeah, certain sense. Like when I was smoking pipe tobacco, if you're smoking cigarettes, nobody really digs the smell of cigarettes unless there's cloves or the vanilla dreams or whatever. And so some cherry flavored stuff. And it was putting out a really nice smell. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, you smell like my grandfather," or, they'll be walking by and sniff the air and look over, and I'm chilling on a park bench or whatever, smoking bowl from my Briarwood. And it's interesting seeing the reaction. Like
the name of a movie set I was on, and they were filming a scene, and it was I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was a bunch of British guys that were supposedly going to kidnap some really wealthy man. I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was Anthony Hopkins starred in it, but I don't remember the name of the movie right this minute. And they were going to kidnap him. And I was at this one set, and I remember walking in to this one area, and I was like, "Man, I'm getting hungry because it smelled like spaghetti." And they go, "Oh, it's the cigarettes." And I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, they have cigarettes because people, you're not allowed to smoke on set anymore. So the cigarettes they use, they look real, but you'll have like different spices, different ones, and just say, which one do you want? Like parsley or, different stuff. And you're pretending to smoke a cigarette with these different herbs stuff. And it made you hungry. I mean, it really smelled good, like garlic. It had all kinds of smells, and there was really smelled delicious. So, but that's the first time I remember.
Was it that Freddie Heineken movie?
Yeah, I think it was Freddie Heineken. The kidnapping of Freddie Heineken. It had the young guy from True Blood in it, Suki Stackhouse's brother. He was in it, and there was a couple other actors. Yeah, so I got to meet all those people. But that was it, the kidnapping of Freddie Heineken. And it was like a 1970s or late 60s theme. So everybody was dressed in all the cool clothes from over in Europe. So it was neat. But yeah, that's what
all that retro shit my parents had in their closet.
So, yeah, it was cool. But this little things like that, you don't even realize the effect of it until you smell it again. You know what I mean? When you smell it, you're taken back, just like Bruce said. Your memories pop out right then, the feelings or whatever you had. So it is important.
I mean, it's a men problem, like just the spontaneous blood flow of erection that, like,
well, women have the same thing. It's just ours is internal, so no one sees it. But our feelings, your breath, how you breathe, your heart rate, and all that stuff still changes.
So. And most time, guys don't pay attention enough until they get older. Then they can pick up on things. Then they realize what power they have. But they're clueless. Men are clueless until they're older. When you're in your teenage years, especially, you're focused on public appeal and how people receive you, and so like you're always worried about things like, I have an awkward boner right now or whatever. But women, you girls are lucky because all you do have the same thing going on, but you guys can hide it a lot easier. Not saying it's
A little more
invisible.
discreet.
But
But
it's amazing.
the bad downside to that is a guy, if you have to pee, you can pull over on the side of the road and pee really fast, just unzip and fly. A woman
boner.
can't. A woman has to, find a place to run into the woods and pull her pants down. I mean, it's totally different. So we have to deal with the bad end of one part of it and good maybe on another part of it. But, God made us that way. Different. Both of us are totally different.
Gets a little wonky at half. It's hard to pee.
Yeah, it's
I
hard
wouldn't
to
know. I wouldn't know, but
all you really have to do is just imagine having sex with Rosie O'Donnell, and typically the blood flow just immediately, it's over. It's gone.
Eden. Rosie O'Donnell.
Well, I hate to tell you this, but the number one selling sex sexy calendars and things like that for guys to buy of women are the real chubby girls.
What?
Yeah, you can look it up. There's a couple women right now on Instagram that they're like at least 300 or more pounds, and they have like 1 million subscribers, and they just walk around in skimpy clothes or dance around and do all kinds of stuff in their house, and men find that attractive apparently.
Okay.
I just
it's a
remember Wee Man trying to do that in one episode of Jackass, and that poor guy.
What was he doing?
Wee Man.
Yeah.
He was on a bed, and they got like a 400, 500-pound woman to smother
lay
him.
on him.
And his little legs were kicking, and I felt so bad for him.
Died. Yeah, there was I went to a convention, and they were like saying, "Do you want to be a member of the Rolling Thunder?" And I was like, "What the hell is that?" I go, "What is it?" And they said, "Well, you want to see someone be initiated?" And I said, "Sure." So I was like, interesting. So I told them. So a couple of us went up, into the hotel room. We go up there, and there's like 20 something people in there. And there was like 6 of them were huge guys. I mean, they were giant. They were tall and big. And they had this other guy, and he was going to be initiated, but he wasn't as big as him. He wasn't as big. And you had to be a certain weight. I think 300 pounds was the smallest you could be to join this the Rolling Thunder. And I said, "But why do you call yourselves Rolling Thunder?" And they said, "We're going to show you." And they bring the guy in that says, and they're chanting and stuff. I can't remember what they were saying, but we were just watching. And the guy lays on the bed, and they took all the pillows and everything off. It was stripped completely, I guess, so that they could make sure he wasn't dying or whatever. Someone doesn't die. And all of a sudden, the other guys come around the bed, and they all start piling on top of the guy. It had to be 1,000 pounds or more. I mean, they were huge people. And all of a sudden we hear like exhale, and everybody's, get off of him. So he lived, but he was purple basically when they got him out from under, and they were all clapping and stuff because he lived, and now he's a member of the Rolling Thunder. And I was like, no, I don't think I'll ever join your club. But what was funny, the shirt they wore, they all had the T-shirt that said, oh, damn it, why did it leave my head? Something about "I hate ugly chicks" or something like that. And I was like, okay, that's a great shirt. Whatever, I don't know. It was just funny. And so you never know. You never know what kind of, group of people you might meet in their little cults or little, clubs. Because I told you I was in a club, and it was called damn it! Why am I doing that? Is it because I'm so tired? It was called the Puma Corps, and I was like, "What does Puma stand for?" And they said, "Putting up with men's attitude." Wow. And we had this little group, and you had this little Puma pin with your name on it. Yeah, it's kind of like No Man, but what the thing is, we had to bring like feminine hygiene products, shampoo, things like that. We had to bring a bag of those type of things because everything we did was to raise money and funds for battered women, and we take all the stuff to the battered women show. So it was all in fun, okay, and it was a partial thing to go with the Junior Chamber of Commerce type thing. And we'd pick a top cat. That's what we'd vote, and she'd be the top cat, and she had a little cat ears and stuff, and she had a scepter, and we'd get her a high stool, and she'd sit in it, and the rest of us would just, say, yes, ma'am, what can we do for you, and get her drinks, wait on her really bad and make her laugh and embarrass her, that type of thing. But then we'd dance around and we'd say, no, Dick, unless we want it. And we'd all like do a train around her, just stuff like that. So I know guys do shit like that and have fun little groups like the No Ma'am Club or whatever. But women do the same stuff. So when women say, we would never do that, they're full of shit. I'm telling you, I've been in women's bathrooms and they're all saying, did you see the ass on his ass? His pants are so tight, I can see it all. Shit like that. Women do the exact same thing in clubs and stuff. So
have you
they
heard
all walk around that like if they're in a bar, they're doing it. Do what?
Have you heard of Confederated Products?
Mm-mm. What's
It's a
Confederate?
reference to last week's movie.
Yeah, it's the movie where they brought him over to do Amway. The two actors.
Oh yeah, the Confederate. That's right. Now I remember.
Everything in our home was Confederated products,
Mm-hmm.
and like all I could think it was like they're recruiting them for Costco, or is this a dig on Amway? And I didn't get it, but okay, later on it turned out to be Amway, but still.
Yeah, I remember I picked up on it because that's immediately when they started talking. I was like, oh, that sounds like Amway, a pyramid scheme. One of those things. People at the top make all the money, and the ones at the bottom are the ones making all the sales, basically. So yeah, I remember that now. But when you said the single name, I was like, it's not ringing a bell. But yeah, it's the same. So ours, we just have to deal with it a little different. But it's truth. Human feelings. It's all how we deal with things. That's it.
Digging it. All right. Come by next week. We are going to be reviewing a movie that hasn't been talked about on this channel in years. Ace Ventura, the first movie that Jim Carrey really came onto the scene, and we're gonna do a review first, and then after that we're gonna watch it first, and then we'll do the review second.
Yeah.
Looking forward to seeing what the discussion is for next week, because that movie has some serious, like we got to discuss this. It's one of Jim Carrey's finest, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think so too.
Janet, you have anything big going on?
No, not really. I've got a few things, I'll be doing in spaces and stuff like that. I don't know who I'll co-host for. It just depends on the schedule and what's going on. But definitely Wednesday, I'm supposed to start my first game. I think. I think it's the first. Yeah, it's the 8th.
Yeah.
So my first game with Bear on his channel, and then Thursday night it'll be Team Shit Show, and then Friday night Shit Show.
What did you think about the game we had yesterday? Were you scared I was going to kill the party off?
Well, I wasn't at first at all. I wasn't really that worried about it because the statues or whatever. But when you said something started coming down the hall, I said, we're fucked. Because I knew there was 2 hallways. Mm-hmm. So I said, what he's doing is he's going to bring something from both sides and we're going to be completely surrounded. So, and I was already half out of spells. I was already halfway down. And Sasha was only at 37% health. And I hadn't been able to heal her, because she's just a cohort. I'm going to heal my team before I'm going to try to heal her. But I was like, man, I don't know if we're going to make it. But that's what I was thinking. Mm-hmm. I didn't think we were. And then that's why I put that wall up, of the whirling blades. Yep. But when it just disappeared, I said, we're fucked. So I was thinking, but we lived. We did good, I think. Everybody dove in and did the best they could.
I'm looking forward to all this.
Anytime you can walk away or not get resurrected.
Yeah. Got a lot more scars, but
yeah. But everything I did yesterday during yesterday's game kind of points to what this is going to be used for. So
I know that's what I'm worried about.
If you guys are interested in what we're doing, go ahead, step around my channel on Saturdays, and you'll see. This coming Saturday, I've got a low-level game with Janet and Six Nations and some other people. We're still praying for Flady to have all of his woes in his life calm down and even out so he can come back to streaming life. He's got some things going on.
Keeping his seat warm.
Yeah, we're going to keep his seat warm. We even showed off his NPC yesterday. Say again?
Keeping the porch light on for you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Six Nations, Crafting Gamer, Janet from Another Planet, and Nerdy Ogre are my four for that. And looking forward to seeing how that campaign turns out and how that rule set's working out for them. I hope they enjoy it. My name is Bruce, and thank you for coming by the channel today. We'll be back later on this coming week. Make sure you tune in to Janet on Thursdays and Fridays, and stop by Bear's channel on Wednesday night to watch Janet get a chance to play her first game without me as a dungeon master. I'm looking forward to it.
From the beginning, coming up with the character and everything. So I've never done it. That's why I wanted to do it. I thought it'd be fun.
Oh, you're gonna have a blast. You're gonna have a real
I'm nervous wreck though. My palms are sweating right now just thinking about it because I don't want to let people down. I just hate the thought that I might, I don't know. It's just dumb, but oh well, I can't help it. It's just
most of my life putting people down. It's nothing. You just smile and nod, and it'll be fine.
Because I think that Bear is going to be a lot tougher than Bruce is, even though I think sometimes Bruce do something and I go, oh God, we're not going to make it, because I have died, already in our campaign. So I just want to do a good job. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So
just be you.
Well, okay, I will.
For the Crafting Gamer, I want to say thank you again for being a member for 14 months. Again, thanking our friend Keto Simple for stopping by today. And you didn't have to give that super chat last night. I've almost got the logo design set up, and so I'll get you a scan of that here in probably a day or two. But looking forward, I'll be doing a logo design for myself, and he'll be using that.
I want it because I want to make you a logo.
Okay. You want to make me a logo?
Yeah, like the one you can hang on your wall right there by your desk.
Okay.
Your thumbnail of Zeus on the throne, but with your face, diamond art.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Send me a picture that you want me to make for you, like a logo or whatever, because I did it for Az and Geeks and Gamers and Ryan Cannell and Doomcock. I've done all theirs, and I think they turned out good. They seemed happy. I sent you a picture of Az's.
I love Az's.
It turned out really good, and he really liked it. He was really happy, and he's got a special place on the wall, and he's got his little light up there, and it looks good, I think. And I was happy to make it for him. It's fun. I enjoy doing it, especially for people I feel proud. Oh, I made one for Nerdrotic too. I forgot about that one. So
we'll be in touch here very shortly. Janet and Keto will be getting that finalized image for you, because he'll be using that for the intro for this channel. I'll be more than happy to advertise for Keto Simple even further, because he always is pointing people in the right direction. And in terms of healthier living, he's always out there trying to help. So
he's a solid dude.
Yeah, he is. He really is. One and all,
he's one of the few with cool beard.
He's got a great beard. He's amazing.
Gotta appreciate
you all
it.
be good. Massive beard. All right.